Well, the big story this evening, our big focus, is it a lost cause for the victims of the 26/11 attacks? The process of justice just seems to be going slower and slower, and yet another setback for India today. Joining us to discuss this, Rana Banerjee, formerly with Indian Intelligence, the Research and Analysis Wing. He was the head of the Task Force for Intelligence Reforms. Dr. Brahma Chelani, Professor of Strategic Studies at the Center for Policy Research, and the well-known lawyer, the senior advocate, Majid Memon. Thank you all very much for joining us. Mr. Memon, if I can come to you first. The laws of conspiracy in the United States are perhaps somewhat different from the laws of conspiracy over here in India. In this particular case, Tahawwur Rana was found guilty of conspiracy, but he wasn't found guilty in this particular case. How is the law different there, and how could it potentially affect cases in India or in Pakistan?
Now, see, precisely, first let me clarify that there is no reason to be, so dejected or feel defeated that, well, it's the closure of the road and the victims of 26/11 would be deprived of justice. I think it's a little too rash a statement. Now, as far as Rana's involvement in the crime is concerned, naturally, the manner in which the evidence is collected, the magnitude of evidence, the seriousness, the affordability to collect evidence was very limited as far as U.S. investigating agency is concerned. We are better off for this purpose that we have investigated the crime because the scene of offense is at our end, right. And therefore we may have much more material which certainly would lead towards truth and justice. Now there, as you rightly say, the procedure is different, the laws are different, no matter, but then of course truth and justice, the concept of truth and justice cannot be different, whether it's on the soil of India or in US. Now his acquittal may not have been a clean chit. His acquittal may have been on the benefit of doubt. His acquittal may have been on account of inadequate evidence for satisfaction of the court. Yes. And there can be, because once an acquittal is recorded, that doesn't mean that's the end of the tunnel. Now the learned lawyer who was representing there, of course they have said that there is a case for appeal as well. And moreover, while deciding the verdict, we have jury system there. Right. And there may not be unanimity, and so many things are still to be examined. I think people in India must not feel completely defeated, and this is not a closure. We have collected our evidence, and we would want Rana to be brought here, let him face the trial, and let us see the truth. Right.
Dr. Chelani, I think a lot of people are concerned that when it comes to David Coleman Headley, there's already an agreement which has been arrived at between the United States government and David Coleman Headley. He will not be executed, assuming that he's found guilty. He's gotten away. Now, Tahawwur Rana, as far as we are concerned, seems to have gotten away. There was a Pakistani Judicial Commission which was supposed to come over here to speed up their own process towards justice of those involved in 26/11. Nothing of the sort has happened thus far. So I think a lot of people want to know, is it really a lost cause at this stage? Because it's just one legal case after the other.
Well, the trial in Chicago clearly had a political angle to it and a political focus to it. And the focus was twofold. One, the prosecution's main objective was to get a conviction on the Danish charge. And the second priority of the prosecution was to shield the ISI brass. Mm-hmm. And they made a major in the ISI, Major Iqbal, the fall guy, as if a major, a junior functionary, can actually orchestrate an entire operation on his own.
So you just, sorry to interrupt, do you believe then therefore there was some sort of agreement between the Pakistan government or some agency in Pakistan and the United States to make a junior officer, possibly with the ISI, a fall guy, and therefore protect both of these individuals, Headley and Rana?
Well, it was too much on the part of India to expect the US to legally or politically corner the ISI. We have seen what has happened after the killing of Osama bin Laden. The US has not tried to discipline Pakistan. The focus of US diplomacy is on repairing the relationship with Pakistan. Right. 3 high-level US delegations have been to Islamabad, the last one headed by Hillary Clinton. So the US has no intention of putting the ISI in the dock on behalf of a third country, which is India.
Right. They have their own interests.
They have their own foreign policy interests and compulsions, and those compulsions are very clear.
NDTV's cricket app, Android and iPhone. Fastest scorecard, special analysis, and much more. Download free. ndtv.com/apps.